Hello and welcome to the forecast for November 24th until the 30th. My name is Desiree de Lunae, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer, and we're going to go into the energies of this week. We have got Mercury going direct. Yes, I'm so happy. And then we also have Saturn going direct. So there's a lot of change up that we get to experience. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you can be so kind to like, subscribe, and share away to those who may experience some value from this kind of information. Okay, we're starting off on Monday. Monday, we are in Sagittarius season. It's official, and this is a mutable sign. So this is where we have a bit of changeability, meaning we are shifting. We're on that trajectory of shifting out of fall and about to start winter season soon. And when we talk about Sagittarius, it is a fire sign, and it is a sign that loves to explore and it loves to follow their curiosity. So that's actually one of the great features of, where we're at right now is follow your curiosity. What excites you, what interests you, what inspires you, that is the direction to go with. And another nice aspect of Sagittarius is that it has quite a wide and expansive viewpoint of things. It has more that eagle eye perspective and sees how everything is connected, and it has the ability to see into the future. It has vision, is what I'm saying. It is very, it has a visionary kind of sign and energy. So here, I really like to take time during Sagittarius season to just kind of speculate and see what we can do in this future that's coming up ahead, after this winter season passes. But we also have a lot of planets in retrograde. Okay, we've got Mercury in retrograde, we have Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter. All of these are in retrograde, and you will notice that by the number, the degree being in red color. And with all these retrograde planets, retrograde is about going inward. It's about reassessing, reevaluating, and reflecting. And especially with Mercury in retrograde, our minds are absolutely in that state. We are just kind of going through and, looking back into the past. Have you been reflecting on the past quite a bit? And just, putting things together and, what are the lessons that I learned from this situation or that previous situation and circumstance? So a lot of reevaluating, and it's an important part in, when we are designing and mapping and planning our lives and our future. We want to take the wisdom that we have accumulated from all of our past experiences. And so if you find your mind, wandering quite a bit into the past or just kind of thinking about things, pondering things a little more, that's completely normal. And that's the nature of water too. Like, do you see this big triangle here? We have multiple grand water trines because there's two planets that are connected to both Jupiter and Saturn. And these grand water trines, well, all these planets are working harmoniously. They're supportive of one another. And when we're talking about the water element, which is very strong and powerful and up front and center for us here, or in the background too. This water element has to do with emotional intelligence. It has to do with emotional awareness too, and sensitivity. Our intuitions are a bit sharper, as even in the retrograde, in the retrograde, like you're actually even in many ways more tuned in. You're more tuned into the feelings and sensations in your body. This can really increase our intuition, our spiritual giftings as well, our spiritual eye, our vision, ability to see into things. So that's a very nice feature right now. And just know that we're in a reflective mode, and it will change though towards the end of the week as soon as these move forward, as Saturn and Mercury are going to move forward, and we'll definitely experience a change from that point. And on this day, Moon is in Capricorn, which I do like. It is opposite Jupiter too, and Jupiter can bring that sense of hope and possibility and faith and trust and optimism. And then Moon in Capricorn is super grounded. It's very calm, it's stable. So I feel like this day is either going to be really fun. You can make it super fun, but also very grounding and very practical and calming too. Now on Tuesday, we do have a moon changing into Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is known to be a bit more observant, a bit more emotionally detached too. So, kind of like that whole, let me just step back and not get so reactive to things. And let's just see, where things fall and what this means and what that means. It has an analytical feature about it. However, it is talking to Pluto. Okay. It is talking to Pluto, and Pluto can reveal some hidden things that you need to see, hidden things that you need to know, which is great. And then it also is really intense in terms of emotions. So even though we have this cool detached nature of Aquarius, we're not completely free of emotional intensity on this day, because it is talking to Pluto, and Pluto just makes the small things big. So if you experience more, and you may even experience more inspiration and excitement, mainly because look at the sun, it's in a nice sextile here. Oh, it is also in trine with Uranus. So I expect feeling either very inspired and excited and passionate and enthusiastic, or like really even maybe rebellious and wanting to break free. I mean, when we talk about Uranus and Sun and Sagittarius, these are independent, freedom loving, freedom seeking energies. And here with the moon talking to both of them next to Pluto, that need for freedom and independence might be amplified here. So I don't expect this to just be some, chill, calm day. Like something wants to just come out of you, something wants to break out, and surrender to that and honor that. And it's great. Okay, so that's our Tuesday. Picture this. Instead of feeling drained, doubting yourself, and putting everyone else first, instead, you are confidently expressing yourself, your boundaries, living on fire with your soul's mission, and experiencing this deep well of inner peace. This transformation, it's possible. I live it myself every day, and that's why I created Rise and Thrive. This is a transformative membership that combines the wisdom of Chinese medicine, essential oils, and other healing practices that shift you from surviving to thriving. So click down in the link below to join the Rise and Thrive membership so that you too can live a life in harmony, in peace, and in deep, authentic alignment with your true essence. On Wednesday, I really want to talk about this grand water trine. And here it's pretty close. Let me see actually on Thursday. Yeah, it's 24 degrees in the morning, but it'll hit 25 degrees. So pretty much on Wednesday, we're going to see an exact even with Saturn and Venus. So my point is, this is like the tightest that this grand water trine is going to be on this day, okay? And it's between Jupiter and Cancer up here, and we have Venus in Scorpio, and then we have Saturn down here in Pisces. Now, Jupiter brings growth and expansion, okay? And then with Saturn brings structure and discipline and commitment and devotion. It is grounding in nature. So it's like really grounding into reality our visions and our dreams that we get from Jupiter. And our growth and expansion, we're really like settling it in. It's not just some idea that goes and flies away and we don't integrate it into our lives. There is an integration feature here. And with this water trine, all the water elements getting pinged here, this is really keeping us quite in alignment with our spirit, with our heart, with our emotions. It is making us just tune into what is true and what is right for us. It's hard to avoid that now. And with Venus being a part of all of this, let's just talk about some of the features of Venus. Venus has to do with relationships. Okay. And relationships here, there is a need and a desire for growth and evolution within our relationships. We're even having this, Uranus opposite Venus moment too. And so this is like a quantum leap, right? There is a call for our partnerships or our friendships or business relationships, all of that, to experience a type of growth and expansion, and to really integrate that growth and expansion, make it for real. And that's what Saturn does. In like a simple way, I just say Saturn makes things for real. Okay. It's not just a pipe dream. And then another thing too, Venus represents our self-respect and our self-worth. And so again, growth and expansion in nurturing ourselves, in taking care of ourselves, and really like honoring our needs, and taking a look at what we value and incorporating them into our lives. Okay. Here we also have Mercury retrograde. Mercury's retrograde, and it's pretty close to Venus. It actually has been close to Venus. It was pretty close on Tuesday too. Yeah. So, oops. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm going too far forward. So yeah, on Tuesday it was even closer. But here, Mercury retrograde can cause some disagreements, or it can cause just butting heads, fighting, misunderstanding too. Like you might say one thing and then someone else took it away that you didn't intend to. I'm sure that's happened in some of your conversations. So it's just misunderstanding one another and what people are really intending to say. And so what I feel is the saving grace in all of this is this water trine with Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Because here, okay, fine, you have a little bit of disagreement or misunderstanding, whatever. But this grand water trine with these planets are making us want to stick it through and like, okay, let's start over. What do you really mean? And so we're really taking the time to develop these connections and to be mature. That's the thing that Saturn brings, is maturity and being responsible and being devoted and committed to the relationships that matter to us. We want to like really be connected and bonded and respectful towards one another. And water element, remember, is emotionally intelligent and sensitive and empathic. So I would say, thank goodness we have this grand water trine in the midst of a Mercury retrograde, because, if it was right next to Mars, there's a little bit more volatility. We had that not long ago, by the way. So there's a little bit more volatility and it's just a lot more explosive. But here, this Mercury is next to all this soothing, calming, loving, compassionate, and kind energy. And I'm sorry, it's strong. Mercury's like wanting to misunderstand or disagree or fight is not gonna make it. It might come, but then it's gonna be watered down okay, by all of this beautiful water energy in this grand water trine. So I feel like this is a very lovely, soothing aspect, nourishing aspect that we all need right now, especially after, I don't know, the months that we've had of all of this fire intensity. When Mars was going through Scorpio this past month, that was volatile. That was intense. I mean, Mars, for me personally, ripped through my life when it went through Scorpio. That was a lot. But anyways, and then also Moon here is a little further away from Pluto, so it should be a bit calmer too, and it is fully deep in Aquarius energy, which is a bit more calm and collected. Okay, so that's our Wednesday. Let's take a look at Thursday. Thursday, Moon does change signs. It goes right into Pisces, and Pisces is a bit softer. It's more sensitive. It's very spiritual too. Has a mystical component. And guess what? it's got some squares. Actually, it's got a lot of squares. It's got a square to Venus. It's got a square to the sun and also has a square to Uranus. That's a little uncomfortable. This here might be the thing with Pisces sometimes can cause confusion. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling a little bit confused about what you actually think and what you actually feel. So if you feel this like fogginess and cloudiness or confusion, that is expected and anticipated. One thing that may help you if you are, affected in this way is just doing some really good water treatment. Okay, like take a shower, take a bath, go walk by water, because the moon is in a water sign. But this square here from Uranus, this one is a bit tight. This can cause disruption. This can cause shock. This can cause a little bit of disturbance or chaos. This is unexpected, unplanned, like, my dryer just broke down and now I can't do laundry. Now that's like a whole ordeal. Sometimes it can create events like that, but it can be destabilizing is what I'm saying. And it could also create some breakthrough or liberating like an idea or a dream or a vision or something with your creative juices. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I see it and now I got to go make it or I got to go write it down, right? So that's the beautiful aspect of Uranus talking to the moon. Sometimes we have these sparks of creative genius that just pop right open. So that's the positive side of all of this. Okay, now let's go into Friday. On Friday, we've got moon. It's knee deep in Pisces energy. It is getting closer to Saturn and Neptune. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's see, here we have that square. That I'd say the square to both Mars and the sun is the one thing to mention for Friday. It is, it can cause some fights for sure and arguments. That's the thing with Mars. It's a bit aggressive. And when it's in a square, now we're kind of bringing out the more difficult expression of this. If you feel more irritated, frustrated, absolutely. Or just feeling like, sometimes the way I like to describe this is just inner conflict. It's like you feel conflicted inside. You feel one way, and you also have a plan or an idea of what you want to do that day, but your feelings just not matching up to those plans. And you just feel this internal turmoil and conflict. So if you're not feeling like smooth and flowy, even though moon is in Pisces, because usually it does that, it's having some hard conversations for sure. And this Uranus opposite Venus that's also happening, Venus is relationships too, right? And here, this can cause some disruptions within our relationships, or yes, it could be some disagreements too, but maybe something comes up that just it's a lot to deal with and a lot to handle and swallow. Yeah, there's volatility here on Friday. So just brace yourselves for that. However, like I say, I do love that grand water trine because this is going to give us maturity and inner wisdom and guidance to handle, these kinds of disruptive things that may come along on our path during this day. So just lean on that grand water trine because it will support us and give us that inner guidance and knowing on how to handle and how to approach these things. Okay, Saturday is the big day where we actually have two planets that were in retrograde and now going direct. Okay, now look, the day of direct is a very potent day because if you think about it, it comes essentially to like a complete stop. If you think about when you're driving a car and you go in reverse, so think that's like going retrograde, you go in reverse and then you have to come to a complete stop and then shift from reverse to drive, right? And so before you shift from reverse to drive, it has to come to a complete stop before it goes forward again. And so that is why we're going to feel Mercury and we're going to feel Saturn intensely. So with Mercury going direct, this means that our mental clarity is going to just get so much better. Okay. It's going to sharpen. We are going to be able to make decisions better, plan better. And, our tech and our appointments, our schedules, like those are going to start flowing better again. So if you've had some issues around, booking things or cancellations or late, people coming late to appointments, like that's just very common during a Mercury retrograde time. So we also have Saturn that is now direct too. And Saturn is only going to add to this grand water trine in my opinion, a very positive way. Saturn is going to solidify our foundations and our structures, our discipline. It's going to solidify how we structure our life and how we structure our days. And Moon is also conjunct Saturn. Okay, it's in Pisces, but here, we're gonna feel this deep sense of responsibility and maturity and commitment. And here, this is a commitment to our emotional well-being, to our spiritual life, to our creative life, our spiritual giftings, like that. Those are all common with Pisces energy. And the fact that Moon and Saturn are together and going direct, we need to take care of these things. We need to take care of our inner world. We need to take care of our inner life as well as, this world that we design outside, but just our internal life experience. There is a call for us to nurture and to be disciplined and to care for ourselves, to care for our spirit, to care for our imagination, and to care for our emotional well-being. And this grand water trine is just so supportive of all of these things. Okay, so lovely that we have these two direct. Now on Sunday, we have a bit more excitement, okay? We've got Uranus and Venus in an exact opposition, 29 degrees on either side. And here, this can also bring a lot of fun, new, exciting energy to a relationship or to a friendship. Okay, this is, or even to money. This could bring new money into your world and into your life, because that's another thing that Venus represents is money, breakthrough money. Okay. This is also your self-worth. So you may have this quantum leap in healing and seeing, oh my gosh, I am important and I matter. So these are going to be really great expressions of Uranus opposite Venus. It can also cause, because there's a lot of energy between Venus and Uranus, okay? This part of our lives, whether it's our sense of self-worth or it's our finances or it's our relationships, there's going to be some kind of shakeup. Okay? And it could be a shakeup that doesn't feel so good, or it can be a shakeup that is just exceptional, that's enlightening. So it can go either way. That's the thing with oppositions. It can go either way, but it's definitely not going to be just nothing, because you can't help but be impacted by Uranus at an exact opposition to Venus. Moon is also in Aries. It's in a fire sign. So we've got the sun in a fire sign. We've got the moon in a fire sign and Mars in a fire sign. There's a lot of heat, a lot of passion, a lot of drive, and even physical energy in the air. So here, go for it. Go for it. Whatever you have uncovered and learned this past week, Sunday, you're going to have some energy to take some bold actions, be courageous, make some risks. And look, this is harmonious. The fact is, this here 8 degrees moon and 8 degrees sun, that's an exact trine. That's an exact 120 degrees. Granted, this is in the morning. Here, things feel aligned. I feel more flow when moon and sun are in trine. You're connected to yourself, your feelings and your thoughts are working together. I feel like doing this and I think this is going to be great, and you go for it. So please go for it. You're just going to have a lot of energy on this day. and go for what gives you excitement and passion and what inspires you. That's the nature of fire. You have to have that spark of life, and don't engage in things that don't provide that spark. Things that are not stimulating to you in a positive way, like don't you don't even need to. And it's hard for a moon to do things it doesn't want to when it's in Aries too. It's got to do what it wants in its own way. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with me for this forecast. And I hope you are well this week. Enjoy Mercury going direct. And we will see you next week for the next week's forecast. All right. Bye. Do you find yourself giving more than receiving, doubting your worth, and maybe even hiding your powerful gifts from the world? These are signs of someone being disconnected with their soul's highest expression. I'm Desiree de Lunae, an acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. And through my own healing journey of self-discovery, I have learned how to shift these lower frequency states into empowered living. I use Chinese medicine, essential oils, astrology, as well as work that brings together ancient wisdom and modern healing practices. So I want to introduce to you Rise and Thrive. This is a unique membership program where you'll be receiving quarterly workshops, guided meditations, and essential oil blend recipes that are specifically designed for empathic, hypersensitive women like you. Unlike other one-off workshops or some generic self-help program, understand that Rise and Thrive offers ongoing support, practical tools that help you to create lasting and progressive transformation. So at just $61 per quarter, it is the most affordable way to work with me consistently. So click on the link down below, join the Rise and Thrive membership, the community, and begin your journey into living your authentic, empowered life.